All right, God, Shalom, Shalom, Israel. Shalom to the 12 tribes of Yasha Allah, giving the chorus, all honor, glory, and praise unto the Most High God, Yahweh, in the name of Omega, sending Yahweh Shah, this brother Yasha Allah. Come back, shall yet another live through the Spirit, by Yahweh, Shema, Mashak, Yahweh Shah, forever and ever. Shabbat Shalom to the 12 that's observing it. Today, Friday, sundown, Saturday, sundown to the Spirit, another day of congregating, and another rest day through the Spirit. All praise to the Most High. We made it through the week. And we're kicking off the Sabbath with a live, through the Spirit. So all praises. Yeah, this is going to be not too long. Basically, just going into where is thy faith? Where is your faith at? Okay, because when you read the Gospels, that's one thing that Yahweh Shah harped on a lot was faith and the importance of it. Right. So I'm gonna go through a few precepts, and we're going to see the accounts in the scriptures of Yahweh Shah, right? Going into faith, right? Faith is all throughout the scriptures. It's a thing that's taught, that's seen in the Bible. All right. So we're going to go through it. So we're going to kick it off with, first of all, what is faith, right? The definition of it, right? What is faith, first of all? So the Bible actually defines what faith is. Go ahead and go to Hebrews 11:1. It says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So according to the Bible, faith is simply the substance of things hoped for. So that's what faith really is. It's the substance of things that's hoped for. You're hoping for something. Okay. Faith equals hope. Hope equals faith. It's the same thing. Right? So it says faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So to lay me back on this, Paul talks about that. All right, in Romans chapter, let me get this real quick. Romans, all right, chapter 8. This is Romans chapter 8, verse 24. For we are saved by hope. So Paul says that we're saved by hope, right? So the man that has hope, the man that has faith, it says, but hope that is seen is not hope. For what a man seeth, why doth he have hope for? But if we hope for that we see not, then do we with patience wait for it. So you may not be able to see what you're waiting for, what you're hoping for. Okay, we don't see, the thousands of chariots delivering Israelites from the four corners of the earth. This is never to be had. This is that has never been seen before. All right, we've never seen chariots up close. We've never seen the angels of the Most High up close. We never seen Yahweh Shah. We never seen his shoes. We never seen these things. We never seen Moses, Aaron, Paul, Timothy, Titus. Okay, we haven't seen the people of the book. A lot of the things that we teach, okay, we're drawing conclusions off the Spirit, of course, and the studies that we have, that we have underwent. All right, and ultimately it's all the Spirit, but it boils down to what? The faith. Okay, that's where that faith comes in at. It really boils down to faith. It says we are saved by hope, and that hope, that word hope, is really going into what? That faith. Because again, we just read in Hebrews 11:1 that faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So hope and faith can go hand in hand. Now I'm gonna skip down to verse number 6. It says, but without faith, it is impossible to please him. So if we don't have faith, we cannot please the Most High, according to the Bible. It says that for he that cometh to the Most High must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. So if we come to the Lord, come to the Most High, according to the Bible, we have to what? Believe that he is. Believe in Yahweh Shah. Believe in the Son, right? Have this faith in our mind, and conclude that these scriptures are true. That Yahweh Shah is the truth. Yahweh Shah is the truth, right? And we come to him, all right, in faith. Let's go to the book of Luke chapter 8. verse number 22, right? This book of Luke, chapter 8, verse 22. It says, "Now it came to pass on a certain day that he went into a ship with his disciples, and he said unto them, Let us go over unto the other side of the lake. And they launched forth." So, mind you, they're in the middle of a lake. All right. It says, "But as they sailed, he fell asleep. And there came down a storm of wind on the lake, and they were filled with water and were in jeopardy." So, what does that word mean, jeopardy? All right. It's not talking about the game, right? Jeopardy. So, when you look up jeopardy, this is what pops up. It says danger of loss, harm, or failure. It says danger arising from being on trial for a criminal offense. So, that's what jeopardy is. Okay. Danger. So, they're in great danger. If you're shipwrecked, that's danger. We know that Paul went through shipwreck. That's 2 Corinthians chapter 11. So, um, they were about to undergo shipwreck, and it says that as they sailed, he fell asleep, and there came down a storm of wind on the lake. There's a storm of wind on the lake, and again, who made this storm to come? That's really what that faith comes in. Because when we see storms come in our lives, the rain, right? As it says in the parable of Matthew 7, the two houses, the one that's built on rock and the other one that's built on sand, they both underwent the same type of turmoil. The rains ascended, the winds blew, right? All of these things is happening in our lives. The storm, right? The rain comes, the thunder comes, lightning, thick clouds, dark clouds, right? Heavy showers. And it's causing, right? Let's say we're the ship in this case, it's causing an overflow, right? Shipwreck, tossing us to and fro, right? Now, again, that's why Paul kind of uses that, analogy in the book of Ephesians, because we're like ships in the sea, right? And when we're life and the Most High throws trials and tribulations at us, he's now shaking that ship. He's now shaking that ship to and fro, right? He's now causing that storm. We know who's in control of the weather. We understand who that is. That's none other but the Most High, right? Let's get a precept on that real quick. See if we can get a precept on that. This is the book of Jeremiah. Let me see here. Right. I'm gonna get not that one. I was looking for another. Oh yeah. Right. Jeremiah 4, verse number 23. It says, "I beheld the earth, and lo, it was without form and void, and the heavens, and they had no light. I beheld the mountains, and lo, they trembled, and all the hills moved lightly. I beheld, and lo, there was no man, and all the birds of the heavens were fled. I beheld, and lo, the fruitful place was a wilderness, and all the cities thereof were broken down at the presence of Yahweh and by his fierce anger." Now that's not really what I wanted. Right, Slakia. I'll get this. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 5, verse number 22. It says, "Fear ye not me, saith the Lord. Will ye not tremble at my presence, which have placed the sand of the Slakia for the bound of the sea by a perpetual decree that it cannot pass it? And though the waves thereof toss themselves, yet can they not prevail. Though they roar," right? It says, "Yet can they not pass over it." You see that? So again, the Most High controls the seas. He controls the weather. He controls the rain, man. The Lord brings the rain. All right. All right. But for the sake of time, we don't have to get all those precepts. But we understand who controls the weather. It's ultimately the Most High. But when we go to Ephesians chapter 4, all right, Ephesians chapter 4 and verse number 13, it says, till we all come in the unity of the faith and of the knowledge of the Son of God. So Paul is reiterating he's reiterating that faith, right? It's very important, very, very important, because we see faith being talked about in both the Old and New Testament, how important it is, right? Without faith, you know, again, going back to Hebrews, without faith, we can't even begin to come to the Lord. All right. So that's how important it is. It says, being tossed to and fro. It's like it says, and of the knowledge of the Son of the Most High unto a perfect man, right? It says, unto the measure of the stature of the fullness of Christ, that we henceforth be no more children tossed to and fro, right? You get tossed to and fro, that means you're going one way and you're going the other way, left, right, being tossed to and fro. Just like a ship that's in the sea is going to be tossed to and fro if it doesn't have, um, you know, the right guidance, or it, really, if that ship, all right, can be, because there's videos. In fact, we don't have to pull them up, but there's videos of these big old ships in the sea, and even though they're very big and very heavy, they're being tossed to and fro by these waves, because these waves can be very, very you know very dangerous, right? You're in a cargo ship, you can stumble across some very, very nasty waves, man, that can overflow and sink that ship. All right. So that's essentially, in a nutshell, what's kind of going on in this chapter. And so the waters are overflowing onto the ship, and it's causing the ship to sink, right? If anybody watched those type of movies, it's only a matter of time until that ship is actually going to sink down. So you have a ship that's sinking. So you have, within a matter of minutes, and guess what? That whole ship could be in water. Okay, underwater, I should say. But it says what? They were filled with water and were in jeopardy, and they came to him and awoke him, saying, "Master, Master, we perish." All right. And sometimes we may have to do that. We may have to come to the Lord and wake him up, you know, on a spiritual level, right? Because what does it say in Song of Solomon, right? Awake not, my love, until you please. Let's see if we can try to get that real quick. It's been a while since I pulled that. Let's see here. Let me get this preset. Is it 8 and 4? Let me see. Okay, come. So, like, this is a book of Song of Solomon, chapter 8, verse number 3. His left hand should be under my head, and his right hand should embrace me. I charge you, O daughters of Jerusalem, that you stir not up, nor awake my love until he please. So we don't want to stir up and cause the Lord to prematurely wake up, all right, by causing him to, essentially have Jacob's trouble or the deliverance happen before his time. Now everything's going to be in its time and place. And shalom, shalom, King. All praise to the Most High, Yahweh Shino Shabrakatah, right? Now everything is at a set time and place. But the point is, how do you wake the Lord? You wake him up by, guess what? Crying out unto him, right? We've seen that from time and time again. We've seen our people wake up the Lord, right? Let's go to the book of Psalms, right? Let me get this real quick. Psalms chapter 78. All right. It's a book of Psalms, chapter 78, verse number 65. Then the Lord awaked as one out of sleep, and like a mighty man that shouted by reason of wine, and he smote his enemies in the hinder parts, he put them to a perpetual reproach. You see that? So the Lord, he can awake, right, out of his sleep. You know, it's like the Lord sometimes when, he's not really, it seems like the Lord's not really doing anything. It seems like the Lord, he's kind of just taking a sweet time. He's not really answering your prayers. He's not really changing your situation. He's not doing that. He's not really working in the time frame in which we want it. We may feel like that sometimes. But guess what? The Lord, he works on his own time. It says that literally the Lord awaked at the Lord awaked as one out of sleep. So, and we see in the scriptures our people, right, the apostles waking up the Lord. So on a spiritual level, how do we wake up the Lord? Crying out unto him day by day, right? That's you can read about that in Luke chapter 18, right? The Lord said, though he bear long with them, with who? Those that cry out unto him. Exodus chapter 2. We cried out unto the Lord, and the Lord remembered his covenant that he made with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? So crying out unto the Lord, sighing and crying. This is Ezekiel 9:4, right? For all the atrocities and the wickedness that be done in the midst thereof. All of this is going to wake up the Lord, right? So it says what? It says, and they came to him and awoke him and said, saying, Master, Master, we perish. Then he arose and rebuked the wind and the raging of the water, and they ceased, and there was a calm. So he rebuked the wind and the raging of the water, and they ceased, and there was a calm. You see that? So the Lord, at any time, because of his faith, because of the power that comes with faith, he was able to rebuke the wind, and it says the raging of the water, and they ceased, and there was a calm. So he literally rebuked it. He might have threw up a curse, he might have said whatever, but he was shouting in the Hebrew, and he rebuked that, and it stayed. So he has power over these spirits. We pray to have that same type of spirit that the apostles had too, because the apostles are given a certain level of spirit that, a small portion of Yahweh spirit. Now Yahweh he was given a spirit without measure, but nevertheless, the apostles walking in his footsteps have a portion of that spirit. But see, yet even then, they couldn't perform this miracle in which Yahweh just did. They had to go to the Lord for it, right? So, even in our life too, we got to go to the Lord, right? Things is happening. Hey, we get tossed to and fro like a ship in the sea. You know, money's tight. Um, finances. Financially. So the Lord, he could do that, right? He could chastise us. He could put us through hell. But nevertheless, this is really a trial and a working of our faith. This is really, increasing our faith. Because real quick, I'm gonna go back to this, but I'm gonna go to Luke chapter 17 because it's very important. How many times faith is being mentioned, right? Let's go to Luke chapter 17, verse number 5. It says, and the apostles said unto the Lord, increase our faith. So even the very apostles that walked with Yahweh and they saw Yahweh do the miracles, and they saw Yahweh heal the sick and heal the blind and literally just do this miracle that we just seen right now. And his first miracle, turning water into wine, and doing all these wondrous works. They seen Yahweh do all this, yet they asked him, increase our faith. So how much more us that we haven't seen Yahweh the apostles, nothing, none of that. But yet we still believe, pursuant to John chapter 20, verse number 28 on down. But we are really the ones that need more faith, right? Especially the times that we're living in. We look around us, we don't see any ounce of faith, right? And when I say any ounce of faith, I mean any ounce of faith in the Most High and Yahweh. We see a lot of people in the world, they have faith in other things. They have faith that when they get in their car, it's going to start up. They have faith and believe that next year is going to come, right? They have faith and believe that they're going to follow along and kind of gather at grandma or grandpa's house on Christmas Day, right? Which is in a couple months. In fact, it's October 25th right now, still on the West Coast. So it's October 25th. That's the spirit. Because then 2 months from now, literally, will be December 25th, right? So yeah, they're planning their life out 2 months in advance, 2 years in advance. They have faith that they're going to still be here, right? They have faith in all these things. They have faith that they're going to live to a certain age. They have faith that I mean, people put faith in a lot of different things. They put faith in, the government. How many people are uh, uh how many people are vote how many of our people are voting for Kamala? That means that they're putting faith in a woman, a person, a heathen at that. Whether you believe she's an Israelite or heathen, or hey, guess what? Her spirit is the spirit of a heathen, right? I personally believe that she is, heathen, but nevertheless, hey, guess what? They're putting a faith in the heathen to rule them, you know? Yeah, Khan, as your brother said, yeah, that's through the spirit, man. That's through the spirit, definitely. Right? I didn't even notice that, but nevertheless, um, how many people are putting faith in Donald Trump, right? Yeah, Khan, hey, that's the spirit. All praises, man. It says, this life is through the spirit for real. I just got off the phone, the Akim, and we were talking about faith in the spirit as always. Hey, man, I literally just did the other spirit. You know what I mean? I didn't even really plan anything out like this. Um, so hey, man, very glad to hear it. Very glad to hear that. All praise to the Most High. Brothers are in the spirit. You know what I mean? In tune with each other. See, I didn't even talk to this brother earlier, man. You know what I mean? We weren't on the phone and saying, hey, you finna do a video? Like, hey, yeah, Khan finna do a video. It's like, hey, man, you should go into faith. Like, Khan, hey, yeah, I should do that. I literally, was like, look, I'm gonna do a video. I don't even know what I'm finna get into. I'm gonna let the spirit lead me. The spirit led me to faith. So, hey, all praise to the Most High, man. That's how the spirit move. That's that John chapter 5, or it's like John chapter 3. All right, the spirit moveth where it listeth, you know. It says John chapter 8, verse number 25. It says, and he said unto them, where is your faith? So that's the point that I wanted. After Yahushua did all that, he rebuked the winds, he rebuked the sea, and he made it calm. Yahushua said, after all of that, where is your faith? Right? And he probably said, where's your faith? And all the apostles were probably just standing there surprised, just confounded with their jaws open, you know, and Peter is probably over there, you know, all wet, dripping because of the water, and he might have they all might have had their head down after that, if I'm being honest. Because Yahweh Shah probably just looked at him and said, hey, look, where's your faith at? Don't you have any faith? You know? And Yahweh Shah probably just went back to what he was doing. You know? That's cold, man. It says, where is your faith? And they being afraid wondered, saying one to another, what manner of man is this? For he commandeth even the winds and water, and they obey him. So what kind of man is that can tell the wind and the water basically just shut up and sit down, and they obeyed the Lord, right? They say, hey, what kind of man is this? That's a man with faith, man. So again, we can apply this to our life. When things are happening, right? The waters and the winds are contrary to us, and we rebuke those because those are spirits, right? Trying to rise up in our life. Satan trying to hinder the word. And I was going through that earlier today. All right. Satan is always you're going to try to hinder the word. Every time we try to make a video, every time we try to read, you might open your Bible and whole day you got energy. You had damn 7 hours of sleep. You was good, right? But as soon as you crack open that Bible, you start yawning, you start, dozing off like this, you know, you kind of just, you keep going like this, right? You kind of stand up, try to read it, and then you get tired of standing, you sit back down, or you kind of and then when you're sitting down like this and then your back starts hurting, right? It's like, damn. So then you kind of lay down and then you try to read like that. And the next thing you know, you're out. You wake up, damn, you only got like one chapter in. So this is the flesh that we got to deal with. But nevertheless, right? It's always Satan trying to be contrary to us. Whether it's the winds blowing, right? Hey, guess what? Brothers, out here in LA for WFI, we were going to go to this one spot, but really, I mean, it could have been the Mossad. I mean, we know it's the Mossad, definitely. But literally the winds was contrary to the brothers I was trying to set up because the wind was so bad. Now I wasn't there, but the brothers told me the wind was so bad that they couldn't even set up their tent. It was that bad, man. Right? And plus there was a fire actually going on, so they had to leave anyway. But nevertheless, they said that the fire, I mean, it's like the wind was so bad that they couldn't put up the tent. All right. So yes, even if it's the winds, the waters being contrary to you, you know, your wife if you're a man, or your husband if you're a woman, it could even be children, whatever the case may be. Guess what? It's going to come. All right, it's going to come. And so the Lord said, in those days when it comes, where's your faith? Right? Because that's really what's going to carry us. Let's go to John chapter 20. So go to John chapter 20, verse number 27. Right? It says, then saith he to Thomas, reach hither thy finger, and behold my hands, and reach hither thy hand, and thrust it into my side, and be not faithless, but believing. So I think about this precept too, because Yahweh says, be not faithless, but believing. So he's saying, don't lack faith. See, even when you're doing this, right? Don't lack faith, but believe, be believing, have a believing spirit, have an open spirit to believe and to understand, okay, this is, this is true, right? Even, when we're praying, right? Let me get this real quick in Mark chapter 11. Be not faithless, but believing. Right? This book of Mark chapter 11, verse number 22. It says, and Yahweh said, answering, said unto them, have faith in God. So Yahweh said, have faith in God. Right? Cold bar right there. It says, for verily I say unto you, that whosoever shall say unto this mountain, be thou removed, and be thou cast into the sea, and shall not doubt in his heart, but shall believe that those things which he saith shall come to pass, he shall have whatsoever he saith. So again, the Lord said, if you say to this mountain, be thou removed and be thou cast into the sea. We break that down as to say a mountain meaning a hurdle that you have to climb. There's many great mountains that people climb. Mount Everest. I believe K2 is another one as well. Let me look that up real quick. K2. All right, let me see. K2 mountain, right, in Asia. So that K2 is actually one of the hardest mountains ever to climb. All right. So this is the K2 mountain. You might have heard of it, you might have not, but a lot of people talk about Mount Everest, which is very hard to climb, right? But K2 is called the second highest mountain on Earth after Mount Everest, okay? And so this mountain is also very challenging to climb. So there's many mountains like this. Even Mount Rainier in Seattle, all right? Oh, well, I shouldn't say Seattle, but I should, Washington. Um, but yeah, Mount Rainier as well, very high, right? It may not seem that big, but it is. It's hella big, all right? It says the elevation is 14,000 feet. So you have a lot of different mountains that's very tall, right? Very tall. It says the K2 is 2 times the size as Mount Rainier. It's crazy. But yeah, you have all these different mountains, right? All these different mountains that uh you know on are on the physical. And so when the Lord said that whosoever shall say unto this mountain, that mountain on a spiritual level is talking about the hurdles that we have to get over. It's a lot of hurdles. You may have to get over, you know, um, certain anxieties or certain things that you may not want to face, or whatever the case may be, and we have to try to climb those mountains. And so the only way to climb it is through having that faith, right? Saying, "Be thou removed and be thou cast into the sea, and shall not doubt in his heart," right? What's the opposite of having faith? Doubt. It says, "But shall believe that those things which he saith shall come to pass, he shall have whatsoever he saith. Therefore I say unto you, whatsoever things you desire when you pray, believe that you receive them, and you shall have them." So you said flat out, whatever you believe that whatever you pray for, you believe that you're going to receive that thing, you're going to receive it, because you have faith that you will. And with that faith comes action, right? Because if I believe that I can, let's say, let's take like a calisthenics aspect. If I believe that I can do a muscle up, well, I can't just, believe it and then I'm going to just automatically do it. No, I believe it. Okay, I picture myself being able to do a muscle up. And so now I go ahead and put in the work so that I may be able to do so, right? And that's what the Lord is talking about. All right, He's not just saying, "Hey, look, I believe I can have a Mercedes Benz, and so through my faith, right now the Mercedes Benz should be in my driveway because I prayed for it." Well, first of all, brother, you have to question, where's your mind at if you're praying for a Mercedes Benz? That's different. If you're praying just for a car, okay, come on. But you're praying specifically for a luxury car, Mercedes Benz, BMW. You're praying for a foreign Mazda, nah. Toyota, nah. I want something. You're praying to the Lord for a Dodge Hellcat, demon, right? You want to hear the whine, you know. Hey, guess what, brother? That's not something you should be praying for. But nevertheless, whatever we're praying for, we also want to make sure that, okay, we are putting the effort in to make that prayer a reality. You know what I mean? So it says, all praises. So yeah, no, that's it on that. Well, I'm gonna go to Mark chapter 10 real quick. Right. This is the book of Mark chapter 10, verse number 46. And they came to Jericho, and as he went out of Jericho with his disciples and a great number of people, blind Bartimaeus, the son of Timaeus, sat by the highway side begging. It says, and when he heard that it was Yahushua of Nazareth, he began to cry out and say, "Yahushua, thou son of David, have mercy on me." And many charged him that he should hold his peace, but he cried the more a great deal, thou son of David, have mercy on me." So even though everybody is trying to push this guy out the way, say, "Hey, be quiet, stop shouting at the Lord," guess what? He cried the more, and he was blind. So this dude is, this man is literally just walking solely on faith. Solely on faith. He's blind. So all you can hear is just commotion, people trying to shush him, but he just moving people out the way and saying, Lord, thou son of David, have mercy on me. He's just crying out unto the Lord. And it says what? And Yahushua stood still and commanded him to be called. And they called the blind man, saying unto him, be of good comfort, rise, he calleth thee. And he casting away his garment, rose and came to Yahushua. And that's very spiritual when Mark included this into the scripture. He's saying he cast away his garment as he arose. So what does that mean? As he comes to the Lord, we kind of cast off that old man. All right. But it says, and Yahushua answered and said unto him, what wilt thou that I should do unto thee? The blind man said unto him, Lord, that I might receive my sight. And Yahushua said unto him, go thy way, thy faith hath made thee whole. And immediately he received his sight and followed Yahushua on the way. So it wasn't the fact that he had 613 fringes on his shirt that saved him. It wasn't the fact that he knew every single precept there is in the Bible. That's not what saved him. It wasn't the fact that he knew how to break down the prophecies in Daniel that saved him. Now, all these things, if you can do these things, that's well. That's very well. However, that's not what's going to save you at the end of the day. Yahushua said, go your way. Your faith have made you whole. Thy faith have made thee whole. Man. All right. So it wasn't the fact that he was the most wisest man. It wasn't the fact that he was the most mightiest. Didn't say that. Didn't say that he was the most mightiest at all. But that he did believe in Yahushua. And that through that faith and that believing in him, the Lord had mercy upon him and made him whole. All right. So that's the importance of faith, man. All right. That is the very importance of faith. I like to harp on that a lot. Right. Because you can't have one without the other. They coincide with each other. As we all know, Revelation 14 and 12. All right. Just get, probably like 2 more and then just close out to the spirit. I don't have to bake this too lefty. It's lucky. Nose be stuffy. This is a book of John, chapter 9, verse number 24. Then again called they the man that was blind and said unto him, give God the praise, for we know that this man is a sinner. He answered and said, whether he be a sinner or no, I know not. One thing I know, that whereas I was blind, now I see. You see that? And so they're talking about in reference to Yahushua. But so what he said, this blind man that received the sight from the Lord, he said, look, I don't know if he was a sinner or not. But what I do know is I was blind. What I do know for a fact is I was blind and now I can see. So imagine that. Imagine if you were born blind and the Lord comes and, let's say you're 35 years of age, 30 years of age, whatever the case may be. And the Lord literally comes and allows you to see, right? Opens your eyes. Don't you think that that's going to increase your faith by 1,000? The Lord literally cures your eyes. That's going to increase your faith by 1,000%. Let's say if you're, you have bad eyes, you have negative 10 prescription, you have really bad eyes. And you pray to the Lord for him to heal your eyes. And then the next day you got 20/20 vision. That's going to increase a brother's faith by 1,000. Because these are miracles being worked. All right. The miracles that we see in our life, and there's many miracles. Brothers testified of miracles being worked in their life. Unexplainable things that shouldn't have been but are. Right. Brothers that literally, shout out to the brother from in our camp, brother Arya, that literally should have died or should have bled out. I'm not going to tell the whole brother's story, but he should have bled out, but he didn't. The Lord preserved him. So miracles being worked, and all of this is because of what? first and foremost, the Lord's grace, but ultimately boiling down to what? Our faith, that we have in the Most High. Brothers go out into the highways and byways. It's a very dangerous thing, but we have faith that, okay, we're going to make it home safe. All right. So, all of these things boil down to faith, man. All right. All of these things boil down to faith. I'm going to end it off with this. This is the book of John, chapter 9. We get a John, it's like it's not 9. It's like it Mark. Tripping. It's Mark chapter 9. Damn it. It's like it. Have it in here. Mark chapter 9, verse number 22. It says, "And oft times did I have cast him into the fire, and to the waters to destroy him. But if thou canst do anything, have compassion on us and help us." Yahushua said unto him, "If thou canst believe, all things are possible unto him that believeth." Everything is possible when you believe, when you have faith to back it up, right? And guess what? Usain Bolt, in order for him to be the fastest man alive, he had to once believe that. He had to once envision himself breaking the world record and holding it. He had to envision that. He had to have faith. And so he had faith, he had vision, and so he did it, right? All through the grace of the Most High. So it's the same thing, with us. We have faith, right? We have faith that we're the elect. We're not saying we're the elect. We don't know for sure, but we have faith, right? So it says, Yahushua said unto him, "If thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believeth." And straightway the father of the child cried out and said with tears, "Lord, I believe, help thou mine unbelief." All right. So the father of the child said, hey, he confessed to the Lord, "I believe, but help me with my unbelief. Increase my faith." All right. So with that, all praise Yahweh Shem Mashiach, Lord willing. This video is edifying. Hey, the water for tuning in. Everybody that has been tuning in through the Spirit, appreciate the continual support. All praise to the Most High God. Yahweh Shem Mashiach, Yahweh Shah forever. Kwame Asher Allah, Shabbat Shalom. Khan, Shalom.